stories ever told are love stories, I would say. And while simulated sex scenes play a vital role in creating compelling and believable entertainment, how come their film has come under such scrutiny? We know it has come under scrutiny during the post-Me Too era.
Discussions around consent and boundaries have led to a rise in intimacy coordinators on sets of all types. But what exactly does the job entail? Here to explain is a professional in the industry, Mattea Kennedy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Okay, so not everyone has heard of an intimacy coordinator. So let's start with explaining what an intimacy coordinator is.
Yeah, for sure. So an intimacy coordinator is a specialist that is brought on board for scenes where we have nudity, implied nudity, simulated sexual content, or maybe really hypersensitive material.
Okay, that makes sense. So what does the job entail, or what does a day in the life look like on set, for example?
Yeah, so a day would be to check in with performers at top of day and make sure that all of their we review their boundaries, which we will have worked out in advance. So they will have had a rider to their contract, has to be given to them 48 hours before the shooting so that they can review that and have time. We would never add anything additional in that time. We could always take things away. And then once we've confirmed all of that is great, we would go to set together, have private blocking, fully clothed always, and any filming like that is on a closed set.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a relatively new role. So, like, what are the avenues that people might take to get to this role? Or is there certain types of training that you need to take?
There's not a formalised training that you need to have. People could come from different backgrounds. You could have a movement background, a choreo background. Maybe you're a dancer or a performer yourself. There are people that have come from sex therapy industry, and there's people that have come from stunts or stunt coordinating. So they're like our cousins. We're besties.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Well, we're certainly hearing a lot about it these days, particularly from actors. And sometimes they have positive comments and sometimes negative. For example, Toni Collette has asked some intimacy coordinators to leave because they made her feel uncomfortable, while Kate Winslet wishes she could go back in time and sort of have one present on every single movie that she ever did. So why do some actors need them and others don't?
Hard to say, right? But I wonder what it would be like in those early days of stunt coordination. I mean, maybe Charlie Chaplin or Jackie Chan felt like they didn't need a stunt coordinator, but other people would be so happy that that role came into existence. So there's no right or wrong answer here. It's personal preference. But what I would suggest is more important is that one is offered.
Yeah. Well, Emma Stone praised the experience she had working with an intimacy coordinator on the set of Poor Things, but she admitted at first she was skeptical about the whole thing. So have you ever felt any pushback personally or hesitation?
I have. I mean, change is a process, right? I think there's always going to be early adopters of people who are really keen and see immediately the benefit, they're into it. And then there will be other people who need to really experience it in real time. I've had different pushback. Like sometimes there's a misconception that we get onto set and we start directing people. That's not our job.
Right,
it's not our job. You know, we are a support person and we're there to realise the artistic vision of the director and of the artistic team.
Yeah.
Simply that.
Yeah. Well, have you ever been on a job where you feel like things could have gone differently had you not been there?
Yeah, I actually think that I have, because middle of the night, shooting a scene with a young woman, an emerging artist, in her costume piece was a shirt, so she was implied to be nude underneath. She was wearing a bralette and little shorts, but the implication was that she was nude underneath. And the scene wasn't going extremely well. And the director, who was the writer, sort of had this idea in the moment, and she said, let's try it with the shirt undone. Now, the visual storytelling instinct of that, I agree, was correct. But
you got to check in.
Yeah, 48 hours.
Yeah.
So the rider to the actor's contract had gone to her 48 hours before. She'd agreed to be implied nude, not nude.
Got
so
it.
we couldn't do that. But I think, pretty sure that if I hadn't been there just to whisper to the director, oh, I'm sorry, it's not in her contract, and the director immediately, she said, no problem, let's reset, we'll go again. We were in, we were out, we
Right.
got the take, you know, it was fine. But I feel really strongly that that younger performer could potentially have been coerced into unbuttoning or maybe taking off that garment for the right reasons, but not
You advocated
not on the
for her.
fly. Not on the fly.
That's
That's
right.
the thing.
That's right.
It's like if we'd have negotiated 48 hours prior, we'd like the scene to be topless. We'd like the scene to be above the waist frontal nudity. You can negotiate those things, but there must be that time frame for consideration.
Yeah.
Well, we've had the time frame. We did it 48 hours ago.
We
Cynthia and I
did.
have agreed.
We talked.
So I think it's time you show us, Mattea, what's in your toolkit to help get these intimacy scenes looking real. So show us your toolkit.
All right. Not a lot of guesswork to understand what these would be for. That is a type of modesty garment that we put, obviously, nipple covers for somebody to wear. We have to always think about the fact that, yes, there's what's on screen, captured for on screen, but there's also the room that you're in and you can see it for yourself. We have all our professionals here working with us. So we take that into consideration when we're thinking about what might we be asking someone to do. This would be a similar thing, you know, different skin tones. So we could use this type of thing or these type of things where we want the illusion of a frontal nudity, but we're only going to shoot from the back. So in that instance, what we're going to have is breasts covered or nipples covered, but shooting that from the back, we're going to have an implied nudity at the front.
With the next props, we're just going to incorporate them because Jess and I are going to do a little scene together, and I think you have a couple of props you're going to pass over. Is this going to be a daytime-friendly scenario? Guys, don't get the scenario that we have here, though, that we've come up with is we're two teens hanging out in a rec room. It might be in the 80s because otherwise we'd be scrolling our phones. Anyway, you're going to first show us how body language plays a huge role in storytelling. So start scene now.
Yeah, we're not into each other.
So part of how we can tell they're not into each other, their legs are crossed away from each other, disinterested expression. Cynthia's shoulder is angled away from her scene partner. She's not even looking at each other. There's no eye contact.
But something has changed because I feel like I've just smelled his cologne and I'm thinking that there's something else that's happening. You might have said something that was kind of interesting to me, so.
Is this good? Okay.
So things have changed here, friends.
Can you pass over a prop? Can you pass
let's
a
take
prop?
that one.
Okay.
Because I gotta go. My dad called. I gotta get the car back.
Okay. So.
But I think I kind of want a goodbye kiss.
Okay. All right.
So we put this like so, correct?
Yes. Let's see
none
what's
of the
happening
bits,
here.
None of the bits are touching.
None of the bits are touching. They've got a good separation.
How do we kiss without kissing?
All right, so now we're going to use the magic of our friend here on camera to help us. You're going to come in, look at each other. Or look just to the side of her eye. Breathe out.
Mattea, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for being here and teaching us all this stuff. I gotta go, but we're gonna be right back. Thank you again. Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.